Hi, I'm Mike, and you're watching Spiritual Combat. And today, what I'm talking about is how deceptive the so-called black culture is, and how it's basically designed to kill us off. And it's, you know, of course, at the top of it all, controlling it is Satan. But when you look at and we'll start, of course, with the music industry. The When you look at the music, and I'm talking about the secular mainstream music, you could clearly see it's designed to destroy you. And a funny thing is, like, you could take. I think I was reading something where a guy was saying he took some song Lil Wayne made. Well, this artist took a song Lil Wayne made, and he rapped over it. He took the beat and all that, and he did his own song over it, and it was a positive song, and it was better than the song Lil Wayne did. I mean, so. And that's the thing with a lot of hip hop. Like look at the song Lauryn Hill did. Boys, you better watch out. Some girls only about that thing. I think the name of the song is That Thing. But anyway, she, you could go on. There's a ton of hip hop songs that have come out that have been positive, and it's funny because then those artists soon are, their careers don't last long when they make songs like that, because it's going against Satan's plan, really. And the other thing is, at one point the music industry was the hip hop industry was going in a positive direction in the early '90s, kind of late '80s. It was taking a positive, more conscious, direction, directing, and it was giving us identity and telling us to come together. They had that song. What's the name of that song? There was self-destruction. We're headed for self-destruction, and they had all the rappers come together and do that, and you had X Clan, and you had all these, you had all these artists out there, and then that Jewish guy funded gangster rap. He funded Easy E, and them over there on the West Coast. There's a good video interview of him doing it, of him talking about it. Maybe I could put it on here. But yeah, he funded it, and that was when they began taking control of the music industry. And one of the points I want to make in this video is, when you look at our whole culture, our whole secular surface culture, our mainstream culture, none of it's controlled by us, and all the stuff in the culture is, most of it is not logical. It doesn't make sense. It's not efficient. It's not wise. It's just wasteful. Like one guy said, it's conspicuous consumption. It's like obvious consumption. It's just wasteful consumption or whatever. A good example is the Beats by Dre headphones. Dr. Dre came up with that, and when you look at how he marketed it as a high-end, high-quality headphone, for professional DJs, stuff like that, whatever. And then Apple Computer bought it from him and took it over, and now they control it. But like, I think the cheapest you could buy those things for is what is it? Probably $150. I mean, they're pretty expensive. It's maybe a little cheaper than that, but most of them cost more than that. And then I was reading an article where the guy was saying how cheaply made they are. They're really crap, and it came out that they have them made for like what, $1,000. I'm sorry, $10 or $15. That's what it costs to make them, and then they sell them. Some of them can cost as much as $250, maybe even more than that. And it's pointless. I mean, why would you spend $250 on some headphones? And then, so you got something on your head. Then to the other end of your body, you got the shoes. You know, you got these people out here. I mean, you saw the one video, dudes licking the daggone Jordans, like worshiping them. You know, they fight over them, and you know when they have the sales, when they're just released, and they spend all this money on them. And see, and my thing is, I play basketball, so I need a good pair of shoes. But I'm, you know, like I just bought a pair of shoes, but I tried to buy the cheapest pair that would support my feet the best. You know, on a basketball level, yeah, you probably will need like Nikes or some high-end shoes or whatever, but I try not to pay a ton of money for them, because like now it's like the average price for a pair of Nikes is $150 to $180, you know, and that just doesn't make any sense, you know. But yeah, you look a lot of the stuff that we wear, you know, is flashy. You know, it's trying to be seen, trying to act like, be like, you know, all that stuff like that. I was watching this show. It came on. I forget the name of the channel. It was like a political type channel, but they were interviewing the people who actually went in and stole the COINTELPRO documents. And if you don't know about that, you should study up on it. But basically what it was an FBI program designed basically to, they were saying how the FBI head, the head guy, I think his name was Hoover or whatever. I forget what his name was. But anyway, he told all the FBI agents that they had to have all of them that were out there in the field, they had to have at least 6 black people giving them information about the black race. And they were just going into how they studied everything about us, all of our habits, everything. And our likes, our dislikes, just down to a T, so they understood exactly how we worked as a people, because this guy was scared of us and everything, and scared of there being an uprising. And it just went on showing just how much they knew about us and everything like that. And I mean, it's funny, you see the stuff that they studied and what they looked at, and what they were studying about us, and then you look at our situation now, and it's like you can easily make the connection of how they use that against us somehow, you know. But the thing is when you look at every part of our culture, you see 2 things. It's toxic and we don't control it. You know what I'm saying? You look at the foods we eat. What's typically considered soul food is not healthy foods. A lot of pig stuff. It was a lot of stuff that we took from slavery, because in slavery they give us the leftover scrap parts of the food, and we figured a way to turn it into something good. But a lot of, you know, the pig, you know, of course the Bible says don't eat it, and there's plenty of scientific information out backing up how horrible it is to eat pork. I mean, the stuff is just on all types of different levels. It's just bad for you. And so diet and food, that's another area of our culture that's just kind of it's toxic, it's bad for us, and it's really killing us off. The other area of our culture is the relationship, male female aspect of our culture. I talked to this guy. He's a cop, and another guy. He went to police academy, but he got a better job, so he didn't become a cop. But this guy was telling me how they train them to, when they go into a house or there's some type of situation where they have to go to a house that's, a black African American house, that what they're trained to do is find the oldest woman in that house because she runs the house. And I mean, man, that's how they train them. And when you look, that's the truth. The oldest woman in the house usually rules the house, and it's not supposed to be that way. The man's supposed to be the head of the house, but it's just how flipped upside down how our culture is, because the law, the legal aspect, controls our relationships and has empowered the woman and disempowered the man. I mean, they entice the woman through welfare and all these programs to kick the man out of the house, because if the man isn't in the house, hey, we'll take care of this, that, and the other. And then they take all. There's no jobs in the neighborhood, so the men, the only thing they're tempted to do is sell drugs or do something illegal, and then they get arrested and they're locked up in prison. And then of course, to keep fueling that whole, to keep that in their heads, hey, you go out and sell some drugs and make money. You got the music industry coming out with songs talking about slanging and making money, and you gotta get this and you gotta get that, and you gotta put this on your car and do this, do that, do the other. And it's just, when you begin looking at it, it's just a cycle of destruction. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, that brings us to this. What's the answer to it? I mean, because that's the first thing I naturally go to. Hey, I'm going to stick with this because, hey, what else is there? Where's my identity? Who am I? What else could I do? If I let go of this little life raft, I'm just floating out here in the ocean. Who am I? What do I identify with? And you got to go back to the Bible. You got to study Deuteronomy 28:17 and the curses that God said would befall us if we didn't keep His law, statutes, and commandments. And the other significant thing about Deuteronomy 28:17, it's the whole idea of it is that what it's showing is the way you know who the scattered tribes of Israel are in this day and age. You'd know them because these curses you'd be able to identify them as a group of people because these curses would follow them, and it lists those curses, and those curses, I mean, are what you see going on right now with us. So what's the solution? You gotta keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. I mean, stop listening to this crazy music out here that's programming your mind. The beats drop your guard. They help you let your conscious guard down, and then they just sing the programming right into your subconscious, right into your spirit. They sing it right on in there. So you got to start right there. Come out of that. You have to cut a lot of people off. Stop eating these foods that they eat. See what, watch videos like this. There's a lot of people teaching this stuff now. A lot of the Hebrew Israelite stuff is right on point with what they teach. Is waking our people up and giving them a healthy culture that won't destroy them. It's a biblical culture. Nobody has perfect doctrine. I mean, some of the stuff, some aspects of what they teach, or what certain some of these Hebrew Israelite camps teach, I don't agree with all of it, but majority of it is spot on, and I don't think any of it is going to hurt you at all. I mean, it's all meant to do you well. Almost every aspect of this, of the hip hop black culture, is, when you look at it, is designed to destroy you. It doesn't make any logical sense, majority of it. And now one of the latest things, you got drill music and that music is basically music to get you hyped up before you go do something bad, before you go kill somebody or rob somebody or do whatever. I mean, but yeah, the answer to this thing is getting in that word and keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Stop fornicating. And the way you're going to have to stop fornicating is you got to get that lust under control. And you probably can't do that on your own and will yourself to do that. You're going to have to seek the Lord on it. You're going to have to seek the Lord with your heart, mind, and soul to get that stuff out of you. It's all designed to draw you to Jesus and to seek Him. But yeah, you got to begin to look at this, just step back and pull yourself out and look at this culture for what it is, and it's toxic. You know, when you take a man out of the house and a man gives the family identity, you know, and you pull the man out of the house, the family's going to have no identity. Your kids are going to be rudderless ships. They're just, and what's the first thing they're going to look to for identity is this wicked, toxic culture. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you see these kids. That's why you see, you know, the destruction in the black community now with these kids, and how they just, like in Chicago, all the murdering and all the stuff going on. It's like these kids have no identity. There's nobody to give them identity. The woman can't give them identity. You see what happens. The men grow up being raised under these women, and they either come out gay or they're just straight thugs, and they end up in jail. And if they come up gay, they end up with HIV or something, you know. And the women just repeat the cycle and are having more kids. They're not taking care of the kids. You see, they're having abortions. You know, I'm sure you heard the saying a bunch of times already. They say the most dangerous place for a black child is in their mother's belly because of the abortion rate. We lead the abortions. They got, and what do? What's another toxic part of our culture? They put those abortion clinics up in all the black neighborhoods. I mean, they're everywhere. Just to entice you to do it, you know. And you have the right to choose to kill, you know what I'm saying? Another area is our women don't wear their natural hair. There's a lot of side effects to them. You know, now you have women running around with blonde hair and all these crazy looking hairdos. And that's why it was so easy for this NAACP lady, who was really a white woman. It was so easy for her to impersonate a black woman because everything on the black woman's fake. They're bleaching their skin. They're either wearing wigs or weave and just don't want to wear their natural hair. And of course, when they say, "Oh, my hair, my natural hair is just," I think it's a curse. It's a nightmare to work with and to maintain and this, that, and the other. But I mean, maybe it is. Okay, it is tough maintaining natural hair, but you need to look at other races. Other races have their problems. White people can't go in the sun. They end up getting skin cancer. You could sit out in the sun all day and just get a nice tan, you know. A lot of other races aren't as fertile as our race is. You know, I wink at my wife and she coming up pregnant, you know. You're fertile women. You go on and on. I mean, keep your natural hair. It's worth it. And the other thing is, by the time a lot of these women, by the time they turn get in their mid-30s, their hair is falling out and their hairline and receded back to here. You know, their forehead goes from like here all the way back, you know, to here somewhere, because they've just torn their hair up. Then you probably saw the video. There's that video out there where the lady talks about, because she worked in a morgue and she saw, you know, because they got to cut the top of the people's heads off, but she said the black women who had weaves, or not weaves, who had perms, who had been perming their hair, they had lesions on their brains where it was seeping into their skull and eating away their brain. And you know that affects your mental attitude and everything like that. I mean, they tell you not to perm your hair when you're pregnant, because that stuff goes in your, you know, seeps into your bloodstream. It's just poison. It's another toxic part of our culture, you know. The other bad part about those perms and stuff like that is that when you can't get sweaty, you can't go swimming. I think that's why a lot of black folks don't know how to swim, because, you know, they're raised by their mother and their mother won't take them swimming. You can't get sweaty, so you can't go to the gym and work out and stay in shape. So a lot of these women are overweight, you know. It's just a lot. And that's just another toxic area of our culture, you know. And I'm gonna do a video and address all the different little aspects of our culture that are so toxic, and why, and what the solution is. And you know, I already said what the solution is the Bible, keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments. And you need to be under somebody who could actually break those commandments down and explain them, because a lot of law, statutes, and commandments that God laid out for us, there's logical reasons why he gave them to us. They're just not, you do it because God said so. There's logical reasons why he wants you to do certain things and eat certain things and stay away from other things, you know. There's logical reasons to it. It's not just symbolic, ritualistic stuff, you know. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go do videos on all these little areas and give some wisdom and some biblical knowledge on it, so we can begin getting ourselves together. But anyway, I hope this video was informative to you. If you like it, share it, and check out some of my other videos on the Spiritual Combat channel. And my name is Mike, and have a nice day.